Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Hope everyone's doing all right. Sorry about coming in a few minutes late as soon as I pushed on Zoom and decided it wanted to update. So let me see, is everybody in? Let's trying to get in. Yeah, looks like we're good. All right. So hope everybody's doing great. Everybody's all right. My name is Mr. Tucker. I will be your instructor for this semester. Trying to pin this thing up here. All right. So hopefully you guys have received all of my emails. I know you received some of them because that's why you're able to log on today. So going into Canvas, just to let you guys know how I will be using Canvas. The only reason I will use Canvas is to archive our emails, our class emails. So here are all of our emails that I've sent up to this point. We're going to go through them in a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to close out. I need to close out something. 1 second. I want to make sure I don't. All right, hopefully it's a little better. All right, so let's walk through these emails. The first one was just a greeting, let you guys know how the class will be handled. Um, this is an online class, it's not a real-time asynchronous class, or real-time synchronous class. In other words, we don't have a meeting time, we don't have times that we meet regularly. You actually do this class, on your own time. We'll talk about how you're going to get class content in a second, but you have your due dates, and make sure you pay attention to your email because I will be emailing you all regularly, just checking in or just letting you know about updated class happening and different things like that. And so that's all that first email was about. And of course, you saw a second email. That's the class, optional meeting that we're having right now. And so that's our only meeting that I was putting out there to the whole class. Of course, I will have office hours. Haven't set those up yet. I'll set them up within the next day or so. Shoot that out to you as well. Be all through Zoom. Um, but yeah, other than that, you can also request, to meet with me outside office hours. If my hours don't make sense according to your schedule. So that's always an option as well. All right, math lab. So it is required that you guys purchase access to Pearson's Math Lab. You do not have to purchase the hard copy of the text because if you purchase Math Lab, you will get a copy of e-text of that textbook, and it'll be a copy just embedded in your Math Lab shell. Here it just goes through the instructions on how to register. I see a lot of you have already registered, so make sure you get in there as soon as possible to to begin knocking out your assignments and everything like that. Because if you're not careful, we'll be a midterm before you know it. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff just sitting out there and we can be knocking it out, progressively as we go throughout the semester. So we have these three options here. That's the course ID that will put you into the shell. And then from there, and I have two different classes in here, same class of 155. So this might not be the same course ID for you. So if that course ID is different, just make sure you're paying attention to the email that I sent you. All right. Everybody has their own, every class has their own course ID. So from that course ID, you're going to have the option of inputting an access code. You may have purchased that through TCC's bookstore or maybe even another outside source. Amazon has everything nowadays. You have a 16-digit access code to put in. If you don't, you can purchase access through Pearson itself, in which they wouldn't give you a 16-digit code. They would just give you the access because you're right there. If you're not ready to purchase anything at this moment, but you're ready to go ahead and get started, you can use the 14-day free pass, which will be a link at the bottom of the screen. And you have full access for 14 days. After the 14 days are up, if by some chance you aren't ready to purchase at that moment, it will lock you out. And then from there, you will not lose your progression or your progress. I will still be able to see it. It's just that you wouldn't have access to it until you go ahead and pay for the full access. All right. Any questions on that or anything questions on anything up to this point? Everybody okay? All right. All right, sounds good, sounds good. All right, next one is Math Lab specific. So just wanted to detail how Math Lab will be used throughout the course. So this first statement of note, just want to make sure we understand how Math Lab doesn't really coincide well or interface well with Safari. So if you're using an Apple product, it may not work well with Safari. Sometimes when it comes to Math Lab, some things will show up, some things won't show up. And if you're dealing with Safari, now if you're dealing with Chrome or Firefox, it's all good. But when you're dealing with Safari, that's when that thing can occur. Sometimes nothing will show up at all. You know you have an issue, but sometimes some things will show up and you think you got it, but you don't even recognize that there's some things that's not there. And according to Safari, you wouldn't even know. So it's best that you use Chrome or Firefox. Both of them are free to download, and you can use those and won't have an issue at all. All right. So Math Lab specifics, getting more into it. You cannot pass the course without access to Math Lab because that's where all of your assignments, your tests, we're going to do our midterm, our final, everything we do is going to be through Math Lab. Okay, so you got to have access to Math Lab. So all of your, I should mention that, you must participate and show activity weekly. So when it comes to attendance, of course, we don't meet regularly, but I will look at your attendance through Math Lab. I'm not saying that you have to go into Math Lab every day, but at least once a week, you should go into Math Lab. Even if you don't do anything, go into a homework assignment, hit save and come out. Something to show that you are around and you are active. I do have to give an account for people who are not participating in class or not showing up. So, and even if you don't do anything in Math Lab, email me, do something to let me know that you're still around and I can give an account for your activity. It is mandatory that I do that because people have messed over financial aid for so long that the government is saying, hey, if they're not showing up, you need to tell us. And then we got to drop you. So, I just had an incident last semester where a student was hadn't shown any activity since before midterm. And we were getting closer to closing out the whole semester. So I hadn't seen him or heard from him or anything. So I dropped him. And then, and see the way this thing is set up, Math Lab and TCC's SIS is not connected. So if I drop you in TCC's role, that has nothing to do with Math Lab. They're not connected. And so this person got on a good foot and just started doing work, and eventually got to a passing grade before the semester ended. I think he got a C or something like that. But when I went to go put in the grade, I had already dropped them 3-4 weeks ago. And so of course, this is somebody who wasn't really paying attention to the fact that they were dropped, or because they weren't doing any work at all. And so, then we had to do some work on the back end, try to get them back in the roster and then give them their grade and everything. And I don't mind doing stuff like that if somebody's willing to put in the work. But we can save us all the trouble if we just either shoot me an email or just go into Math Lab, hit save on an assignment and come on out. And that would never, the person would never got dropped at all. So these things can happen if we'll just, do our part. And so just like in this next statement right here, if you're having any issues with attendance, Math Lab or whatever, make sure you email me so we can make sure that you're on track, as far as moving forward and everything like that. All right. So when it comes to homework, you have unlimited amount of tries to get the best grade possible on your homework. So when it comes to unlimited amount of tries, there's no such thing as unlimited amount of problems. So, if you wanted to play the game or, you click the problem, get it wrong, they give you the answer, and then you keep clicking the problem until that one comes back up. Now you got an answer to it. You can get an easy 100 on your homework, but you don't want to play that game because then you mess around and get 20 on your actual test. So with unlimited amount of tries, I am looking for at least a 75. So 75 to 84.9, I will put it as a 90%. In my grade book, 85 to 100% is a full 100. So if you want a full 100%, you want to at least shoot for 85. Now, this grading right here, this bump up, I cannot program Math Lab to do it. So that's something I would do at the end of the semester. But just to let you know what I will be doing at the end of the semester, you want to at least shoot for a 75. But if you shoot for 85 or better, you get 100% on each one of your homework assignments. All right. Test reviews, they are not mandatory. Not mandatory, but if you score 85 or better, I will add 5 points to that respective test. I always suggest that you at least take a look at them because they're gonna let you know what type of problems will be on your test, but you do not have to do them. If you go into a test review, let's say you do a couple problems, it's only at 20%, come on out because you're done with it, that 20% will not be held against you. If you never go into the test review, it won't be held against you. I won't be looking at your sideways or anything like that. But like I said, I suggest you at least take a look at it. And then also people always asking about extra credit and stuff like that. I got extra credit already built in, so that's the way you can earn extra credit to boost your test scores. Also notice the bump up only applies to homework, not your test. So if you go score 75 on your test, it is just a 75. But if you were to do the test review, that will bump it up to an 80. So you can, do the test reviews to help boost your score. Now, when it comes to your tests, you get 2 attempts to get the best grade possible. But I mean, if you want another attempt, it's nothing but a conversation. Like you can shoot me that email or something like that. We can talk about it. And then also if something happened crazy, the cat may walk across your keyboard and hit submit and it mess up your attempt, I can always give another. It's not a big deal. So always feel free to, communicate, if you have any questions or requests. And then this last statement right here, you must email me a copy of your, excuse me, your scratch work. Normally, that's I put that as a general statement for all my classes. For 155 though, normally you won't have much scratch work because you'll be using technology and it's really about the application, not calculation. So you probably won't have much scratch work in this class at all. All right. So before I go to the next thing, questions on anything I've said? Any questions?
I'm sorry. So you said the tests that we take are not proctored?
The 4 tests that are already posted in Math Lab. I haven't gotten to everything yet though.
Okay, all right.
But since you're there, we are
Sorry.
going to have a midterm and a final exam. So, you're gonna when we get into Math Lab, you see it. If you guys haven't already seen it yet, I am going to go into Math Lab. You're gonna have your homework and you're gonna have 4 tests that you just do on your own. You got your due date set up, and we'll talk about due dates in a second, but you just do this on your own. But we have to do something that at least I'm looking at you, because if not, really you could have your cousin from down the street doing it. So we have a midterm and a final exam in which we'll have like 4 or 5 days that you can choose from to log on to Zoom to take your midterm, and we'll do the same process for the final exam. When we get closer and closer to the time, I'll send out instructions on how we're going to handle that. But everything will be done through Zoom. You don't have to come on campus or anything like that. Yeah. But those are the only 2 times. Those are the only 2 times I have to see you. That's for midterm and final exam time.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And then here, so I also sent you guys this. This was the last email I believe I sent. Just previously recorded lectures. So these are the lectures that you would get if you were in person, in my class in person. Um, it's all of them right there. Yeah, same notes, same guy. Just yeah. So if you want to use those, they're there for you. If not, you want to go through the book. It's up to you how you want to process and consume the content for the course. But yep, that's all of them right there. And let's see, 212223. Yep. Okay. All right.
Are
But
the sections like correlating to the chapters?
Yep.
Okay.
Everything lines up. The only one that I don't have lectures for is chapter 1 because it's really just a lot of definitions. We about to get into that in a second. But
Okay.
so the lectures start at chapter 2.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. Any other questions on any of these emails before we go to Math Lab? Anybody? Anybody? All right. Let's go into Math Lab. See if it's going to take me. Maybe it'll keep me out. Mhm. So with that email link that I sent you guys, you don't have to go through all this. That's why I sent you that long link. It'll take you right here. For those who may have not done it yet, it'll take you right here. Um, all right, let's see. All right, so everything that we do and everything that we have going on is going to be in Math Lab. Like I said, when it comes to Canvas, the only thing I'm using Canvas for is to archive your emails. Nothing else is in Canvas. No due dates, no assignments, no syllabus, nothing. Everything is here in Math Lab. So here you have your syllabus. I need to update it because I haven't put my office hours in it yet, but because this is the syllabus from last semester, but it's the exact same thing. So, but I'm gonna update it very shortly. All right, here go all of your assignments. And you see all of them from beginning to end. Normally when I'm in person and I'm doing the lectures, normally we only get to 8 before we get close to the semester, and then it's like, okay, do I really want to throw something new at them or get them a chance to get caught up? So more than likely, this is just where we're gonna stop, and I leave this down here 8-3 on to the rest of chapter 10 as extra credit. I'll probably send another email out later on in the semester talking about these sections right here, but notice the final exam review is right here at the cutoff. So, so we're looking to stop at 8-2. All right. So due dates. Notice if you haven't been here yet, if you let me say it right. If you haven't been here yet, you will see now that we only really have 2 due dates. Those 3-3 and then 4/28. So one is at midterm and the other one is at the end of the semester. So you have until March 3rd to cover chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. And your midterm will be on chapters 1 through 4. So you see the midterm review is already here. Of course, you don't see the actual midterm because there's no need for it yet, because we're not ready to do that. We're going to do our midterm the week before spring break. And like I said, during that week, I'm going to give you 4 or 5 days to choose from at different time slots. And yeah, you just pick the one and you log on during that time and come ready to take your test. You want to make sure that your camera is enabled to be seen. You can use your camera with no problem. You just want to make sure your Zoom capabilities are in full effect. And if you ever want to test anything out with me, always feel free to email me, and we can test out your Zoom capability. Do you grade the definitions or just study material? I'm trying to get to it, man. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so since we there, definitions. These are your first assignment that you want to get to me. The due date I gave was for my other class. I believe it was the 28th. Let me look. Yep. And January 28th, and I'll write it down in a second, but January 28th is when I'm looking to see those definitions. I'm probably gonna put it in the email when I send this video out as a recording to the class. Put in their definitions are due by January 28th. And basically what's gonna happen is, you would do these definitions. You can do them in Microsoft Word if you want, or you can write them on your notebook. Either way, you're going to email it to me. So you may have to scan it if you write it in your notebook or whatever. And then I will manually put your grade into Math Lab. So this is the only assignment that's like this, chapter 1 and chapter 2. And it's just to make sure that we familiarize ourselves with the terms, especially when it comes to statistics. Sometimes it can have its own language. And I'm going to show you how this is set up as well. But notice how you have in each one of the definitions, you have multiple pages. What ends up happening with Safari only shows you the first page. And so if somebody said, here's my definitions, and they only give me the first page for chapter 1 and the first page for chapter 2, I know they still mess around with Safari. So so you got multiple pages in both. And so this wasn't made to be a hard assignment. Notice you have 2 ways of getting to these definitions. Don't go to Google, Alexa, and all them different ones because they may have different definitions based on your book. Your book is a little bit different. When you have a statistical book, you can have some words that are based in statistics that if you saw that word out there in the world, it would be a different definition or slightly different or different enough wherein it doesn't apply here. So you want to pull your definitions from your text. You can either go to e-text or chapter contents, which will still take you to the e-text. Oh, let me show you this first before I go to the book. So you see that the first one is what are 2 definitions of statistics, what is population, what is population parameters, and so on, sample. So now when I go to the first page in chapter 1, Sometimes the book will take a little bit to log up, upload, but all of these things are in order. All these definitions are in order. It wasn't made to be a scavenger hunt, or it wasn't made to be hard. Once again, it's just to familiarize yourself with the terms so that you're good moving forward. And a lot of these answers are in your homework as well, your math lab homework as well, because you notice that you have math lab homework in chapters 1 and 2. So these definitions don't take the place of that. It's just a reinforcing of the terms. So here, two definitions of statistics. That's the first one. Then population parameters. And if you keep going, you'll see all the definitions. They're all in order. So once again, they'll go with population parameter. Next one is sample raw data, sample statistics. So all of the stuff is in order and all of them are highlighted. So it's not made, once again, it wasn't made to be a hard assignment, just to familiarize yourself with the terms so that you be okay moving forward and have a solid foundation moving forward. All right. So once again, those definitions are due on January 28th, which is a good little ways away. So my whole thing is what I always tell people is, even though I give you all of this leeway, I try to leave room for life to happen, and you don't have to ask me for any type of extensions or anything like that. Just give you enough time to knock it out. Don't wait until the day before to get on this work, because it can be problematic. While you got time, go ahead and knock this stuff out. You want to progressively be doing this stuff as we go throughout the semester. You don't want to put yourself in a position in which you can't walk away from homework. Math can be frustrating at times. What you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you just got all this stuff to do and you have little time to do it. So make sure you're progressively doing this stuff as we go throughout the semester. There's nothing wrong with, I know a lot of times people put my class on the back burner a little bit because there are other due dates coming from other classes. And so I get that, but just making sure you're doing something, because like I said, you don't want to do what other people have tried many times before. All of this stuff was not made to be done in a weekend. So what you don't want to do is, hit me and say, Mr. Tucker, I'm gonna take this weekend off and I'm gonna do it. Called off work, sent the kids away. The dog is, somewhere in some lavish vet or whatever the case may be. Then the next thing, the goldfish jump out the bowl and die. All your air in your tires go flat. Like something crazy happened, and everything that you tried to do or wanted to do, you cannot do. And that was the only day that you had to do it, or the only weekend you had to do it. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. And yeah, make sure you just stay on top of this work, because midterm will be here before you know it. We'll be sitting around trying to figure out the next move if you're not careful. All right. So questions on anything else up to this point? Due dates, assignments. You see all your homeworks, the way to set up. You got your homework, test, review, test, homework, test, review, test.
So I have a silly question.
Mhm.
For all that terminology, are we able to just print it and email it to you, like write on it and
Yeah,
send
for
it to
sure.
you that way? Now, or does Math Lab have like an option where you can write on it, or no?
Nah, Math Lab doesn't. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. No problem. No problem. So just make sure everybody understood her question. She was just making sure there wasn't a way to submit the definitions through Math Lab. So unfortunately, that's the only assignment that's like that. You guys are gonna have to email me your definitions. And then from there, once I get them, I will manually put your grade in Math Lab. And then from there, but other than that, other than those two definition assignments, everything else is just straightforward. You just do it through Math Lab and stuff like that. All right. So if by some chance you're looking at Math Lab, looking at your assignments, and all you see is homework, that's because you have the homework tab set up, and all you will see are your homeworks. Your test reviews are set up as homework as well, so you can do an unlimited amount of tries if you want to get that practice in. If you just want to see your test, you can see your test. And see the first two, 3, second two is 428. And yeah, that's how that would work for us. Let's see. Oh, let me go into an assignment. All right, let me see if I can find a decent one. Okay, this is good enough. Somebody said something in chat. Okay, good question. Good question. So one of your classmates mentioned, oh, well, y'all can see the chat, but anyway, one of your classmates mentioned that they've been going into math lab and reading the e-text and reading the chapters. Will that go towards attendance? I do not believe so. I don't think I see when you actually go into a chapter. Now, I may be able to see if you log on. I'll probably have to look that up. But the easiest way and the simplest way for me to see that you've done something is to at least go into a homework and save and come out. Like I said, the homework doesn't count against you. Let's say if you go in there and do something that's at 5% and your grade read 5%, that doesn't count against you until the end of the semester. Like if you never go back. So you can go in and out of your homework freely, at will. So that's why I say, the probably the safest thing to do is to go in your homework, hit save, and come out, and that will put a time. That'll for sure put a timestamp on it. All right, so I'm just not doing what I want to do. Okay, there we go. All right, so just doing something in here. Notice how it says check. You check. If you get it wrong, they try to give you a hint. Once again, try to give you a hint. And now it says final check. So notice they give you, under normal circumstances, 3 tries to get the answer correct before they mark it wrong. And so if you get it wrong, they give you the correct answer. And so you can hit similar question. If you do not, at that moment, similar question is right here. So you can reset it. And so it's the same problem, just different numbers. Notice there's a red X here. If you get it correct, there will be a green check. If you go to your list, the red X is still there. Once again, it will be a green check if you got it correct. And notice we have multiple answers here. So let's say if I got some of them right, some of them wrong, then I will get a green check / red X. All right, here are your help tools. Help me solve this. Normally people don't do that because it would just help you solve that problem and then it will mark it wrong because it helped you solve it. Most people like to do view an example in which it gives you an example and walks you through it. A problem that's very similar to it. And then you can go back to the problem. Sometimes people print them out as well. You can print right there. And then here, get more help. You have help tools here depending on the complexity of the problem. Textbook sends you to the place in the textbook where this problem is discussed. StatCrunch is Pearson's version of Excel. You can learn how to use it if you like. If not, there are other things that you can use. If you have any questions about using, always feel free to ask. Tech Help is Pearson's tech team. They can help you out. Also, they may, depending on the complexity of the problem, they may have a video here of another Pearson instructor talking about this problem. And then as my instructor sends the email to me, let me know you had a problem with this problem. And sometimes I get those, sometimes I don't. If by some chance I have not answered your email, always feel free to email me again. I don't mind a reminder or check out, hey, I sent this email about such and such or whatever. Also, if you ever come to my office hours or ever request a time to get help outside of office hours, all I ask is that you actually bring problems to the hour or to the session. In other words, just saying I have a problem with regression lines. To me, that's that I would please help me help you. A lot of times when it comes to math, I can pull problems and still not address your problem. And if there's nothing more than you going into an assignment and just picking a problem, you didn't even know how to start. 2.1 number 5, I didn't know where to go with that. That helps me. And I can walk through that problem. I can just pull up that problem and walk through it with no problems. And, we can make sure you're good to go. And then from there, continue to move forward. So I would suggest that if you have multiple questions, bring all of those questions. Like I said, number 2.5, number 1, 2.5, number 6, or if it's from the test review, just actually bring the problems that we can actually address versus so that we don't have to waste time trying to find problems. So that's all I ask of you guys. If you come, asking for help, that you at least go into your homework, look through the homework, see what problems you couldn't do or didn't know how to start, and then we can go from there. And that shows me that you're doing your part by at least going into the homework. Even if you didn't try it, you didn't know what to do, at least you can pull some problems out and say, let's do these. So that's all I ask of you when it comes to, getting help. All right. Questions, concerns, comment, anything before we close? I think that's all I have as far as the intro. Like I said, my door is always open. I'm gonna be sending you guys office hours shortly. And then, like I said, if you need to email me about something, always feel free to ask.
I do have one question
Yes.
again. So just to get it clear, so for the test one, test two that I see up here, all of the tests are open book and they're not proctored, or are they not open? Like, are they? And but the midterm is not open book but proctored.
Yeah, well, yeah, tests 1 through 4, you can do them, use your notes and all stuff like that, open book. Your midterm and your final exam, if you create some notes, I don't have a problem with you using. It's just that I have to proctor you. That's all. Test 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't have to be proctored. Your midterm and your final exam has to be proctored. Hopefully that
Okay,
answers. Yeah,
I got it. Thank you.
no problem. Anything else, anybody else? And once again, I don't mind you using your notes on the test. It's fine. So if you guys are good, I'm good. Have a great day. Have a great semester. Like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to having a great semester with you guys. Let's see. Yep, no problem. Thank you. All right, you guys have a good one. And I'll be sending this email out shortly if anybody want to review it. Yeah, and we should be good to go. All right, you guys have a good one. All right, take care.